Welcome to another edition of the Coach Daboll Show presented by Ford. I'm Bob Papa. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We got a big show lined up for you. We'll talk with Coach Daboll about this week's matchup with the Cowboys. Carl Banks will go to the coach's tape with strategy, all that and much more. With that, we welcome in the head coach of the New York Giants, Brian Daboll. And Coach, obviously Sunday was a tough one, but really no time for pity parties. This is a tight week for you, isn't it?
Yeah, Thursday games are always tough. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and you kind of put that game you just played to bed. Unfortunately for us, not the results that we wanted, and then move right on to the Cowboys.
Coach, let's jump right into this Cowboys team, because they too are a team that have some key players missing, and they're trying to just kind of figure out, how they're going to get the next win too. They have components, though. You can never look at them and say, well, they don't have their quarterback or their guard or their tackle. They've got players, and they do have serious threats, right?
Yeah, no question. Start with CeeDee Lamb on offense, who's as dynamic of a receiver is in the league. He leads the league in receptions. And you go to the other side of the ball, Micah Parsons. He's lined up all over the field, and he's probably the hardest guy to block, one of the hardest guys to block in the National Football League, and those are two really good centerpieces for them. They're high-level players, the elite players at their position, and we're going to have to do a good job with both of them.
In offense, defense, special teams, there was a missed field goal by Washington, a missed extra point, a missed field goal, and then a kickoff return that changed the whole complexion of the game. Yeah. What makes Turpin so dynamic?
He's got unbelievable vision, speed, quickness. I mean, the play he made to run it back against Washington, it looks like a play that you use the joystick for. It spins around and takes off. His speed is elite, his quickness, his vision. He's tops in the league.
It's almost like he set him up, too, because he kind of stopped for a second to see where they were coming from, and then he did that pivot, and then he's gone.
Yeah, gone. You give him a crease, he can take it, he can change direction, he can go from one side of the field to the next side of the field. He's dynamic in both areas. He's a huge weapon for him.
Because of injuries and everything else, you played them earlier this season. It's so long ago. Do you take much from that last meeting, or do you just look at these last five for them?
No, you definitely look at the tape of the matchups that you have on your team versus their team, of the guys that played against one another. Certainly you take that into account. You use some stuff you did the year before, and then obviously the games that they've just played here in the last few weeks.
From your experience, when you have a game like the game that happened on Sunday, is it almost beneficial? It's almost like baseball, where you actually kind of get a chance to get back out there and kind of put it in the rearview mirror?
Yeah, not the results that we wanted. It was a tough game, obviously frustrating with the outcome, and look forward to getting ready here as soon as we can.
What are some of the things this week that you do mentally with your team that you've done to get ready for this game? Because it's more mental than it is being on the field practicing.
Yeah, you make the meetings a little bit longer. You do some more walkthroughs, and that's really what you can do. It's not a physical part to it. So you change your meeting schedule just a little bit, and obviously the meeting time and the practice of the walkthroughs.
Final question. There's Thursday night football, but then there's Thanksgiving Thursday games. We all grew up watching it, playing it. What does it mean to you to be performing on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it's a privilege. I remember it just like you do of listening to Madden and all those type of things, and watching the games. And obviously it's expanded since I was a kid, but certainly a privilege. Cowboys, Lions. You grew up watching those games, and it's great to be part of.
All the players that will be playing in the game on Thanksgiving. In all three of the games, we'll have the John Madden silhouette patch to honor John Madden. You think of those turduckens and all that other stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Coach, best of luck on Thursday, and happy Thanksgiving. That's the head coach of the New York Giants, Brian Daboll. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back in the program, we're going to dive into a little matchup along with Carl Banks as we continue with the Coach Daboll Show presented by Ford. Welcome back to the Coach Daboll Show presented by Ford. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Time for head-to-head for the Giants matchup against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. And Carl, we're going to take a look at a couple of key ones. Now, the first one is up front. Cooper Beebe is the center for the Dallas Cowboys. He's done a really nice job this year. He's played 100% of the snaps. Dexter Lawrence, 9 sacks. The trail has gone a little cold for Dexter recently. I think in this head-to-head, though, it's Cooper Beebe plus, because Dexter's getting double-teamed on every play.
Well, and here's the key. He's going to get double-teamed, but can you take some of the pressure off of him by posing a threat on the edges with Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns? So we'll see how this works, but they should be able to free him up one-on-one, and then they've just got to get the quarterback or stop the run.
Yeah, and the other DTs that are involved here with Dexter Lawrence have to win their job, because they're definitely getting one-on-ones, because Beebe's going to get help on either side. Either guard is going to be able to help him out. When you are getting double-teamed repeatedly, what are some of the things that Dexter Lawrence can do to try to frustrate the offensive line?
Well, the frustration part of it for the offensive line is not being able to move him. The key to a double team is to be able to get the guy you're double teaming off the ball and into the second level, so you're cutting off linebackers, because the double team normally happens, it's a double, and then the next guy has to come off and get to the linebacker. But if Dexter holds his ground, the linebacker can now move freely and meet everything at the line of scrimmage.
The next head-to-head matchup we'll take a look at is in the secondary. Deron Bland is coming back from his injury. He had a historic year last year with touchdowns and pick sixes. Malik Neighbors has 67 catches this year, just 10 yards a catch. What are some of the things that the Giants can do to get Malik Neighbors going and be more explosive?
Well, I think it's called getting your offense on track, Bob. They've got to run the ball effectively, but more importantly, they've got to protect the quarterback. If they can protect the quarterback in passing situations, they'll be able to get Malik Neighbors the ball. But if the quarterback is under duress, it's going to make decision-making a lot tougher.
Ball placement is so important. I mean, this is a guy that has a history of getting a lot of interceptions and taking them to the house. So you can't be careless when you're throwing the ball in his direction.
You cannot, and that also means you can't be careless when you run your routes either. This is just not related to Malik Neighbors, but every wide receiver, you've got to run precise routes so that the ball hawks like Bland and Diggs don't come in and pick you off.
All right, that's a look at this week's edition of Head to Head as we break down some matchups between the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. When we come back on the program, Sean O'Hara joins the show here on the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford. Welcome back to the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford. Thanksgiving, it's the Giants in Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Now let's send it over to Sean O'Hara with Giants rookie tight end Theo Johnson.
Thanks, Bob. All right, Theo, look, it's your rookie year, your first year in the NFL, and you get to play on Thanksgiving Day. Obviously, you're from Canada, so what does that mean to you? And did you grow up watching some of these Thanksgiving Day games?
I grew up watching the Thanksgiving games every year. Our Thanksgiving is a little bit earlier, so now I feel like I'm a full-blown American now.
The bright purple, my sister's place. Obviously, the NFL is doing their My Cause, My Cleats. What is that all about?
Yeah, so My Sister's Place is a foundation that helps, single-parent households, predominantly that have been affected by domestic violence and things like that. A little bit of my background, I came from a little bit of a broken home, so this foundation hits home to me, and I'm looking forward to giving back.
That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about, obviously, as a tight end, I know we all want to catch touchdowns. Let's first start with the blocking, though. You're next to a tackle right here. All right. What is the toughest block for you?
Yeah, so the biggest one is when you have someone head up or a little bit inside and you're not getting any help from that tackle and it's going away from you, and I got to cut him off. So the big thing is making sure you're hearing the cadence, you know what the snap count is so you can get a good get off, and really making sure you're open up and running and fighting to get to that play side number so you can get him cut off, because if you don't get him cut off, he's going to just come right off the tackle's butt. He's going to blow the whole play up. If you know he's slanting hard, you're going to have to lose a little bit of ground, open up, take a big second step to try and gain that leverage.
Gotcha. All right, so footwork's important. You mentioned crowd noise and sound. If you can't hear the quarterback, you can't hear the cadence, what's a technique that you use to help yourself get off as soon as the ball's snapped?
You can sometimes peek in with your periph and see that ball being snapped, which isn't easy. And then if you're in a YY set, which I predominantly am playing the F, which is the wing tight end, so I'm a little bit off. There's another tight end there. there's no shot I'm going to be able to see the ball.
Right, so I'll be that tight end. So what do you do?
So what I'm doing here is I'm in my stance, and I'll have my hand right on his calf here, and I'm going off his movement, so that we're both going, because I'm going to be, half count late off from him.
Right.
So just making sure that we're keyed in. We know what the silent cadence is, whether it's silent 1 or silent 2. So we're giving ourselves a good chance to do what we got to do.
All right, now let's talk about blocking on the move. This to me is one of the toughest things that they ask fullbacks, tight ends, H-backs to do. What are the challenges for you with that, and what do you work on to make that better?
Yeah, so the toughest one is where I'm on this side, and at the snap of the ball, I have to run across the formation, and then I have to block either a corner or a linebacker scraping over the top.
Okay, so I'm the defender coming up. You got to discern, am I going to wrong shoulder you, or am I flying up the field?
Yeah, and so the big thing is when I'm coming, I want to make sure I'm coming to balance. I'm not split stance like this. I have my feet underneath me, and I'm able to move. If you come this way, I'm able to pin you here, or if you go outside, that's the easy one for me. I'm kind of just taking you further you want to go, and
trying to go up the field. Boom, you walk
trying to take you out to the sideline as far as I can take you.
So that's all the nitty gritty work, all the tough work, and then the payoff is catching the football. How do you run a route differently if it's a linebacker that's in coverage or a safety?
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing for me with my skill set is I'm able to use my speed or my size. So if I have a smaller safety that I'm lined up with, he has no chance if I get into his body and try and create separation that way.
What does that mean, get into his body? So like on the safety, you're going to just step up on my toes?
Yeah, so if I have like an out-breaking route, let's say I'm breaking out this way, I want to get leverage by maybe taking a step outside, and then I'm going to get into your shoulder, and then at the top, I'm going to lean into you and then get a little flipper here.
A little chicken wing.
To just create a little bit of separation. That step is enough, especially in the NFL. You're not going to get 5-yard separation, but 1 or 2 steps, that's open.
All right, how about a linebacker?
Yeah, so a linebacker, especially a guy that doesn't move too well or can't run as well, I'm going to get on your toes again, but instead of this time get into your body, I'm just going to chop my feet, clear the hands, and then reset my line and break it off flat. Because, like I said, if I'm working into your body, that's what you want. You're going to hold me, and then I won't be able to create that same separation that maybe I could against a safety.
Theo, thanks so much for the time. Good luck on Thanksgiving Day.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more to come right here on the Coach Daboll Show.
We're here for Thanksgiving Day. The Giants and the Lions.
I'll tell you, Lawrence Taylor didn't start today. He injured his knee last week, but he's come in the second quarter. He has really made his presence felt.
Billy Sims over left side. Giants think they have the football.
They do.
They do have the football.
Taylor hits him from the outside, jolts the ball out.
First down, Lions. Here comes the rush by Taylor. And you talk about strong. Look at that.
He ends over a pass. He's looking for King. Intercepted. He's going to go down the right side. Lawrence down to the 20. 30. Down to the 40. He might go all the way. He's going to go in. Hot dog. You're rooting, Dick. Oh, yes. But listen, what an effort.
Lawrence Taylor's 99-yard pick six on Thanksgiving Day in Detroit helped the Giants beat the Lions. Lawrence also had a sack, one-handed. He was amazing, forced to fumble. Carl, you grew up in Michigan. You were in college at the time.
Yeah.
What were you thinking watching that game?
Sitting at the dining room table, having my turkey and watching that, I was like, wow, this guy is really, really good.
Could you ever imagine that you would become his teammate?
I did not. But you know what? I'm so glad I was.
We welcome you back to the Coach Daboll Show presented by Ford. Time for this week's edition of Strategy, presented by Microsoft, the official tablet of the New York Giants. And Carl, Kevontae Turpin last week against Washington had a kickoff return that broke the game open. He's also used for his explosiveness in the offense.
Bob, I think it's very important, and I'm going to draw this up because when you have either outside technique or inside technique, you've got to be disciplined because he's so quick and he makes you second guess what your responsibilities are. Here you'll see him, and I'm going to show you the defender is lined head up here. He should probably take a side and force Turpin to go a different direction. But he gives him one jab, and he's into the middle of the field before the safeties know what happened. And then when I run this tape, we'll run it right here, and you'll see he takes it all the way to the house. He's playing head up, slightly outside. When I run this, you either got to be out here or you've got to be shading inside, because what happens with the two deep safeties, there's not much help when he gets to the middle of the field. And when he gets to the middle of the field, he just outruns everybody. Let's just take a look here.
Wow, it's just one little jab step and boom.
Yeah, one safety vacates out, and he's in the middle of the field in no time flat.
So he can provide explosive plays, and if you don't get a good jam on him, it's trouble. A guy who's been consistently trouble for the Giants and the rest of the NFL is CeeDee Lamb. He's their deep threat. They use him out of the slot. They use him wide, and he does a great job on contested throws.
Well, there's a reason why he's one of the leading receivers in the NFL. He's a big, physical guy. Now, he runs great routes, but when it comes to 50-50 balls, I'm going to run this, and here you'll see it's not much to his route. He just tells the quarterback to go up, throw it, and I'll go up and get it. And let's just take a look at his physicality here. This is anybody's ball. The quarterback throws it anyway, and he comes up with it. I mean, that's just the level of wide receiver that CeeDee Lamb is.
Here's another example of him just being smart out on the football field.
Yeah, and here, Bob, you'll see the subtlety of this route. The cornerback, Deonte Banks, has outside leverage. He really doesn't give the leverage up. He's probably hoping he can help here or help here if he forces CeeDee Lamb there. CeeDee Lamb knows that, so watch what he does. It's a little subtle, but he never gets to a point to where this guy could intersect or this guy can intersect. So his job is to get CeeDee Lamb out to the boundary and force him out of bounds here. But he didn't. It seems like CeeDee Lamb played the stronger guy here, right? So he pushes him and CeeDee Lamb fights back in and he out-physicals the cornerback. There he is right there. He just out-physicals him in tight ropes, and safety couldn't get there, took a bad angle, and it's a touchdown.
All right, those are some of the things the Giants are going to have to deal with on defense. Now, when they're on offense, they're going to have to deal with Micah Parsons, who has dealt with a bunch of injuries this year, but he is still a game wrecker as he gets healthier and healthier.
Yeah, I can put numbers up of anywhere Micah could be. He could be here, he could be here, 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 here. The Philadelphia Eagles are just turning all of their guys out. So basically, they're sliding, right? Everybody's sliding. So Parsons can't get here. He can't get here. He comes all the way here just to come back in. And it's just not many people can do that. He's very unique when he can do this. You see him stop. If I stop it there, he's right at the center, right there. He wanted to go here, but he wasn't there. So when he does, he just keeps looping around until he gets to the quarterback, and he just accelerates.
And he got help from Odigizua, who occupied two guys and held his ground.
Correct.
To allow that to happen.
That's correct. Now you'll see him. He's not the end man on the line of scrimmage here. They put him on the inside so that he can be one-on-one right here with this guard. And now you'll see how it works. The guard just doesn't know what to do. Just runs right by him.
Stutter, go, sack. All right, that strategy with Carl Banks, presented by Microsoft, the official tablet of the New York Giants. So final thoughts on this game. Obviously, Sunday's game, you got to try to flush that as quickly as possible. What can they do to rebuild in such a short period of time?
It's the same story, Bob. It's attention to detail. You want to make the game easier for yourself? Pay attention to detail, because you don't struggle, you don't scramble to get to the next play. If you're doing everything and making every possession important, then you'll have success. If not, you're just working against yourself.
You know, one of the guys I'm looking forward to seeing this week is Tyrone Tracy, who obviously had a bad fumble again last week. That's 2 games in a row. This Cowboy defense is still susceptible against the run, but I want to see the rookie respond, because he obviously brings explosiveness to this team. How interested are you seeing him try to bounce back from this?
I do want to see him bounce back because this is going to be a challenge. Remember, the Dallas Cowboys are ball hawks. They've always been. And if they see a guy is susceptible to fumbling, he's going to get it every time he touches the ball. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be punching at it. It doesn't matter who it is. They got him circled in their scouting report as a guy who will fumble. So they're going to keep punching at the football.
All right, those are some of the things we'll be looking forward to when the Giants take on the Cowboys on Thanksgiving in Dallas. This week's game is presented by Prism Trading Cards, one of Panini's America's most popular NFL card brands. So that wraps it up for the show. For Carl Banks, Coach Daboll, Sean O'Hara, and our entire crew, I'm Bob Papa. We wish you and your family a very healthy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of the Coach Daboll Show presented by Ford.